What's up?
Here on WCNUradio.com. I am your host, John Rector.
And I'm always your co-host, Zach Piggott.
That's right.
And then we're going to switch around on Friday as per the usual.
Yep, Friday we got the Super Uber Power Hour from 3 to 4:30.
But John, it is not time to talk about that. It is time to talk about the Super Bowl.
It
and
is.
all the controversy, as the British soccer announcers call it, the controversy. All the controversies that happened.
There was certainly much controversy. It was a boring game. I'll say throughout most of it, but the simple fact that it was the Super Bowl made it good for me.
I was shocked at the result of it. I thought, because I predicted up here 35-14 Carolina. I thought that Carolina defense was the Carolina offense was going to run through, and then it was like, nope, I was wrong by a mile and a half.
Yeah, you said a blowout. I was a little bit closer, but I still picked the Panthers, and I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game. But, we both sat up here and we said we wouldn't be shocked if the Broncos made it close or even won, but I don't think anybody expected that defense to be just quite as dominant against Carolina offense that it had success throughout the entire season.
Yeah. And it's funny in a way, too. And I remember I was talking about it with a couple friends. I said, I think everyone kind of underestimated that Broncos defense coming to this game.
Yeah, it's really hard to underestimate a defense that was first in the league. They were the best defense all season. They handled Brady in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it's like I think what it was that it's kind of like when you look at such a surging team, like Brady and the Patriots had some problems coming to the playoffs. They had lost a couple of games, they were not looking good. So it's like when the Broncos defense took care of Brady, it was like, okay, well, look how they were playing. But then it was like you looked at how Arizona was playing, you saw the Carolina defense took care of Arizona. It was like, oh man, that Carolina defense, that's unbelievable,
Yeah, and while the Patriots had their problems throughout the season, the Panthers were coming in at full strength. They were just as dominant in Week 17 and the playoffs as they were in Week 1. They stampeded their way through the NFC, and they ran into a brick wall in the Denver Broncos defense with Von Miller.
Yeah, that was wow. That was a very defensive heavy game. It was, and you say it was boring. It was just like I was just waiting for the next screw up.
What I mean when I say by boring is the general audience, I assume, would think it was boring. To guys like you and me that love the football and we love the game,
we love the sport.
We love the game, the football. We love the sport. I'm certain you enjoyed it for what it was, and it was a good defensive match. For what it's worth, the Carolina defense, they looked great. They held the Denver offense to
they looked Peyton.
Under
they
200
made Peyton
yards.
look bad. It's like, well, that's the point,
Yeah, the Broncos offense, they did a really good job on their opening drive, but then after that, it wasn't much.
Back to what you're saying about that right quick, though. They held, if I remember correctly, the stat line ESPN put was like 198 yards total offense for Broncos. It's the least amount of offensive yards for a Super Bowl winning team in the Super Bowl.
Yes, fewest ever, first team under 200 yards to ever win the Super Bowl was getting 200 yards in said Super Bowl.
I think that says a lot, though, about their defense and the mistakes that Carolina kept making, though, honestly.
Yeah, it was the turnovers and the fumbles and
Cam Newton.
Yeah, it was much like we saw with the Denver-Seattle Super Bowl a couple of years ago, where Denver just could not keep their hands on the ball. They were making all sorts of mistakes that were very uncharacteristic of them throughout the season. Yeah. We saw the same thing with the Panthers, fumbling the ball. Cam Newton fumbled it twice, and the running backs couldn't hold on to it, and then the receivers kept dropping balls.
I was about to say that is all special on the receivers, because there were some open looks.
There were.
On both sides, because both receivers on both sides kind of screwed up. But it's not as the Carolina receivers more than the Denver ones that were driving like easy passes.
Yeah, and it seems like nobody could really get on the page at the same time, because whenever Cam Newton threw an accurate pass, a receiver would drop it, or whenever the offensive line made a good block, the running back would fumble the ball 7 or 8 yards downfield. Yeah. And Cam Newton, he missed some open throws as well.
He overthrew a couple. He
overthrew a couple. He missed a few. But, all credit in the world to that Broncos defense. The secondary, I think, is the story of the game that's not getting the attention that it deserves. Because while Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, they were wreaking havoc, and they were just teeing off on that offensive line and having their way with those offensive tackles, the secondary was absolutely locked down. Everybody from the linebackers to the corners to the safeties had absolute lockdown coverage. There was nowhere for Cam Newton to throw the ball, and that really allowed Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware to get there like they did. Derek Wolfe as well.
Quick question now, since now we are officially in the offseason of the NFL. Von Miller's contract, he's going to be a free agent. I mean, I would say the Broncos should do everything in their power to
He
re-sign
will,
him.
without a doubt, be the richest defensive player in the league.
The Broncos need to re-sign him. If
Absolutely,
not,
100%.
any team that picks him up, their defense just skyrocketed because
yes.
of Von Miller. Like he deserved that MVP award.
He will be on the Broncos next year. They're planning to use the franchise tag on him if they can't get a long-term deal done, but I'm sure that both sides absolutely want a long-term deal.
And I'm sure Elway's looking at it like, yeah, they had not saying they were the pieces to repeat. No, I don't think that, because more than likely, let's be honest, this was Peyton's last game.
Yes.
Which, I mean, it kind of sucks because, man, it was not a good game for him, but he goes out with a Super Bowl, but that's the thing. I mean, that's why I'm saying I don't think that we'll get I don't think Denver's going back next year. I want to look ahead next year. I don't see that happening because Brock Osweiler, still needs to get used to the system and whatnot. But still, though, this is going to give me a good team that's going to be dominant, I think, in the AFC for a long while.
I see them being a contender. And I'll be honest, they were very lucky to get to the Super Bowl. Well, lucky is the wrong word. They were fortunate to get to the Super Bowl in that they had the right culmination of defensive excellence combined with Peyton Manning making very few mistakes. C.J. Anderson really came on strong the second half of the season and in the playoffs. He proved his worth. He'll be hopefully a long stand on that team.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, Von Miller, he's gonna have to stay on that team, and his money's gonna cut down on somebody else's. Granted, they're going to be without Peyton Manning, one would think, and they can add his cap to somebody else. I don't know. There's certainly a lot of pieces in play. And don't expect New England to go anywhere. Houston, if they get a quarterback, they'll be right up in there. Kansas City. Yeah. There's a lot of good teams in the AFC that are coming up while you see the stock begin to fall on Denver after they plateau.
Yeah, true that. And I was about to say, the NFC now, it's been like 5 years, I think, since the NFC won the title, right? Because 2011 was the Giants.
Seattle.
That's right, Seattle did win it.
Seattle, yeah. And I mean, for the longest time, they were just alternating because we had New Orleans and then we had
Giants.
Yeah.
Green Bay.
We don't talk about that one. But I mean, the Steelers were in there somewhere. The Patriots are in there.
Yeah,
the Broncos now.
Yeah, like I said, I remember is that weird stat line again. Another weird stat that Sports Center brought up. It was like since 2005 or whatever. There's only been 3 starting quarterbacks for the AFC in every Super Bowl, and it was Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Big Ben.
Yes.
Like that says a lot about the AFC.
That is great. Yeah, it's very, very top heavy. Yeah, we didn't even mention the Steelers. They're certainly a contender.
And let's not forget the 1 year where it was Joe Flacco and not one of the other 3 guys, but
yeah.
But still, I mean, it says a lot where it's like out of the past 10 years, 9 years has been the same 3 quarterbacks. It says a lot.
Meanwhile, the Panthers, I certainly expect them to be back here.
Maybe
not next year, but I certainly would expect.
I think they'll be
back.
back. I think they'll be back next year.
They're a young team. They've got a lot of talent. They played extremely well all season. For some reason, it didn't come together.
So speaking of it not coming together, so let's talk. So there's 3 big things that happened: 2 during Super Bowl, 1 after. I think we should go through them.
Yes.
First and foremost was the catch in the first quarter. That was bobbled. That he. For those that don't know, basically what happened was that I forgot who Kendrick threw to. He threw over the middle. It went off his hands. He went back up in the air. He got it, but then he went down. The refs blew the play. No, he was an incomplete pass. They reviewed it. Ron Rivera challenged, and they did not overturn it. They said, yeah, it was an incomplete catch.
It was absolutely incredible into my mind. And we always hear on like ESPN and all the other sports pundits out there talk about how, I don't even know what a catch is anymore. And normally I don't subscribe to that idea.
No, now it's...
I know it's confusing, and the rule has changed and been altered and, interpreted different ways. But for the most part, I feel like I know what a catch is. After that play, I have no idea. I have no idea on what grounds they overturned that.
The only thing I can say about it is that, and we're only radio, so you can only hear us, you can't see with us. But it's like, when he caught the ball, it looked like when he was going down, it looked like there might have been like a part of the ball that might have touched the ground.
Which is acceptable.
It's like minuscule, no. If it touches the ground, it's incomplete.
The ball can touch the ground as long as you have control of it or possession of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And to me, what I saw is that he had possession of it. It was in his arm. He doesn't have to make a football move in order to establish that he has control of it. That's just in order to, establish feet in bounds and all that.
The biggest problem, too, with it was with Juan Rivera's challenge as well. Because it's not saying that it was bad he challenged. No, I completely agree with the challenge. It was a thing, though, where it was like, now it turned into a thing of it wasn't just hey, was it a catch or not? It was you have to have the evidence to overturn the call. It wasn't just, oh, hey, let's rewatch it. It's like, okay, they're saying it's incomplete. Is there enough to say, yes, it is incomplete, or no, it actually is a complete pass? And that, I think, went against Juan Rivera's. That went against Juan Rivera when it came to that challenge and whatnot.
The rule, as I remember it and interpret it, is that the ball can touch the ground as long as it does not move when it does so, therefore assisting the player in the process of the catch. To me, I saw the same thing that you and everybody else did. I do not think that the ground helped him make a catch at all, but when it touched the ball, I think he has it.
But let's be honest, it wasn't that one play screw over the Panthers. They were playing so bad.
Well, I can make the argument
you think
that
so?
it did, because the very next play is one of the most decisive plays of the entire game. On the very next play, in the shadow of their own goalposts, Cam Newton fumbles the ball, and it is picked up in the end zone for a Broncos touchdown. And that allows the Broncos to play with a lead for the entire game.
True. I agree with you on that. But I think any great team, though, can come back. They should be able to come back from, you know what, sometimes the calls don't go your way. Sometimes things happen. But as a team, you got to get past that.
I fully agree. I fully agree with that. The
Panthers it did put them at a disadvantage. It did put them at a disadvantage, but it's like they should have. Juan Rivera should have been like, all right, look, it's not going our way right now. We just got to get the call. You know, we're not getting the calls right now. We just got to play hard, just keep pounding the ball. That's all that had to be done.
I fully agree. The Panthers are a good enough team that they should have been able to overcome something like that.
Yeah.
However, if that is a catch, they are snapping the ball from their own 40 on the next play instead of like the 15 or wherever it was.
Yeah.
So it makes a difference. It should not have decided the game. It really shouldn't have. The Panthers were overwhelming favorites coming to this game. They should have been able to make up for it.
I think it just got to them, honestly. I think it just got to them.
It possibly did. I don't know. The mistakes, like I've said before, were inexplicable with the fumbles and, well, the drops are a little bit explicable.
Yeah.
With Ted Ginn Jr. He'll make plays, but he'll break plays.
Oh, yeah.
The most surprising part to me, honestly, was the fact that Cam Newton didn't play well in his own stuff. I know that the receivers dropped balls, but he missed a lot of open plays.
No, he did. Let's talk about that also, because that was the second controversy. And it was when Cam Newton, fourth quarter, they're down by 7 or 6 or whatever. Here's the chance. All right, he's going to start marching down the field. He fumbles the ball, and he doesn't go for it.
Ball's lying on the ground.
He takes a step back, but then it's like he takes a step back. Seems like he's starting to go for it, but that's when you have all the other players already jumping on it. The Denver recovered it at their 4, and eventually C.J. Anderson punched it in, and then the Broncos converted the 2-pointer, and that was the nail in the coffin. Now, in an interview, I think today, Cam Newton said, "I didn't want to risk." Or yesterday, Cam Newton said, "I didn't want to risk an injury." Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
Okay, first of all, before I start about that, when I watched it live, I thought that he initially thought about diving on it and then backed up so that he could pick it up and try to actually throw it again. Mm-hmm. But obviously, hearing the explanation, that wasn't his intention. His intention was to just dive on it initially, and then second thoughts about that. We heard that his leg was in an awkward position for him to recover the football cleanly without him getting injured. A lot of people say, with 4 minutes left in the Super Bowl, down by 6 points, and you're driving or about to drive, that you need to fall on it. I personally think that if Cam Newton, in his mind, truly judged that there was a significant chance of his leg getting injured on that play, to the point where he couldn't play the rest of the game, all 4 minutes of it, whatever have you. But if there was a significant chance he couldn't come back into that game, that's a loss you have to take, because who's their backup? Is Delhomme, or is it?
No, it's not Delhomme. Delhomme retired, didn't he? I think.
Did he?
Is it Jimmy Clausen?
No, he used to play for the Browns.
That's right.
He's actually made a Pro Bowl at one point. Their backup, Derek Anderson, I believe it is. You're gonna tell me that Derek Anderson is gonna lead them to victory?
Anderson.
Yeah, not at all. It sucks. He shouldn't have fumbled the football. It sucks that he did. It sucks that he didn't recover it. But that's just the way it has to be. If he couldn't fall on it without, denying significant injury, the Broncos were going to get the ball back at one point anyway.
True that. It's like how I feel about it is that it's kind of like when I saw the play live, I honestly thought it was like I thought it was like he was like it took his mind a second to register. Like that's honestly how I thought about it. But then it was like, but when you see it in slow motion, you see like no, he did take a conscious step back and then step forward. It's like, okay, why did he do that? My thing is this: at the end of the day, I mean, I understand your point that it's like, do you really put the ball into Derek Anderson's hand if Cam Newton gets injured? But my thing is this though too: you're only down by 6. You need a touchdown to get ahead by 1 point. And this goes on to the thing we're talking about next with Cam Newton. You need to go for it. I'm sorry. My thing is, because the thing is this: you may screw up your leg. The season doesn't start for another 7 months now. That's enough time to recover from a leg injury.
Right, but you're in the Super Bowl now. You're in the Super Bowl now.
Right, but that's the thing. If it was something where like my team's in the Super Bowl now, and it was like, oh, crap, I may get injured on this play, but if we keep the ball, we have a chance to still keep driving down. I'm gonna go for it. If I screw up my arm or my leg or my head or whatever, it's like, you know what? I may be out for the game, but hey, we still have the ball. We still have a chance. And even if that drive didn't work out, Anderson 3 and outs, the ball would have been at least, let's go at the 50 or the Denver 40.
40 yards farther downfield.
Right.
You would hope.
Much farther down the field, which means Peyton and them would have to drive again. With Peyton being as sketchy as he was during the game,
they were going to score. They were going to get the ball back.
There's no chance they were going to score. So it breaks up that thing of where it's like, is it worth it to do it? I think so, because if you, like I said, you put in Derek Anderson's hand. He made 3 and out, but your defense can get the ball back. If you have a good special teams play that could put you in striking distance, and then maybe you do put in Derek Anderson's hand, or maybe you go with the ground game and you just go with it.
To me, the minute the fumble leaves his hand, the ball leaves his hand, it almost next to eliminates any chance they have of winning that game. But to me, asking Cam Newton to score 10 points in 3.5 minutes is a lot more manageable than having Derek Anderson score 7 in 4 minutes.
Like I said, for me, I think of it as I would have died for it, honestly. And like, if I'm the star quarterback, and like even if coach would have gone mad, like, why did you die for it? It's like, hey, we still have the ball. We can put it. If we put it in with the defense, like the defense can stop them. We can try and get good field position. I think we'll be fine. Or even, and that's the thing though. It's like there was, and let's be honest here for a second. It's a 50-50 chance at injury. Mm-hmm. It is either his leg is in an awkward position, it does get screwed up in some way, or it does get screwed up. Like it's like, it's able to correct, he's able to correct his leg, or no one lands on it or anything like that, and he's fine.
Yes.
And that's the other thing I have to think about too, is that there was a 50-50 chance of him getting injured or him not getting injured.
I have no idea what the chance of it. I haven't actually been able to go back and watch the play since he's said that his leg was in an awkward angle. I mean, maybe it was a little bit, angled, trying to come back towards the ball. You would certainly not want an RG3 situation to happen. This is exactly what happened to RG3. Granted, that was in a playoff game, not the Super Bowl, but he dove on the ball when his leg was in an awkward angle, and it threw him out of the game, and I'll say it ruined his career. He never recovered from that injury. It never happened.
The whole thing with RG3, though, that's because Mike Shanahan screwed him over with trying to play him and all that jazz. He should have had more recovery time.
I agree with that. I agree that he probably should have been in the
25% of it, I agree, is the leg injury because RG3 is a running quarterback and whatnot, so that did take it out from him.
Yeah, and the Panthers, they have such a bright future. I hate, and don't pin me as saying that I'm supporting Cam Newton playing for next season rather than this season when they're already in a Super Bowl. I don't. I'm telling him, play for the next 10 seasons. Play for the next 10 seasons, because if you go down and you cannot get back up the same way that you were ever again, then
you lose the franchise.
I don't know.
You lose the franchise.
In addition to having a bad chance at winning the Super Bowl. I don't know. Your argument is valid. I think mine is too. It ultimately comes down to what you value and how you determine the risk of injury on that play to be.
No, I agree. But and this goes on to next thing we're about to talk about. I think it's just at the end of the day, it's about you gotta this is what you've been playing for all season. This is what when you're like 5 years old and you start playing football or not, this is what you aspire to be able to do. And it's like, you got to make those kind of plays.
Right.
And that goes to our last point
Yes.
of controversy that happened, which was after the game, Cam Newton in his press conference, after game press conference, he sat there for 3 minutes, gave 3 or 4 word answers, then got up and left, just out of the blue.
Okay, here's the thing.
That's arguing with a Facebook friend about this.
Yeah. I don't want to spend too much time on this because my overall sentiment about this is leave Cam alone. He just lost the Super Bowl. But I don't really have a problem with him doing this to the media because even though I'm a member of the media, obviously I'm not covering their Super Bowl, but I do aspire to be a video journalist. It's tough. I don't really expect him to be that interactive with the media. However, when he sits there with his hood up, looking depraved, not
sullen,
caring. Yeah, he's sulking. I'll say it. He looks like a child. He looks like a sore loser. He looks like a young 8-year-old kid that just lost the soccer game that doesn't know how to properly lose. Yeah. He's been a winner all his life. He's been a winner in high school, in college, in the NFL, and he just lost. And I think he's a sore loser. He doesn't know how to deal with it.
No, I completely agree with it. And my whole thing about it too, it honestly is this. I understand the whole thing of where he just lost the Super Bowl, leave him alone and whatnot. But the thing though is this: when you sign on to a team in the NFL, you are basically contractually obligated to talk to the media.
Yes. You
are contractually obligated to talk to the media. So that's the whole thing I have with Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
He didn't want to talk to the media and whatnot. He got in trouble with it because you are contractually obligated in any league. Doesn't matter if it's the really small minors like single A, double A. It doesn't matter if you're in the pros or you're an international. You need to talk to the media. You are contractually obligated to talk to the media. Because I remember they were talking about today on SportsCenter. I called up a SportsCenter for a left for classes today. One of them, they had 3 of the Denver Broncos players up there. They have who was it? It was Anderson, C.J. Anderson,
Von Miller.
No, Von Miller. It was the one linebacker at Tabernath or something like that.
Brendan Marshall.
No. It was like some linebacker. And
regardless,
and some other guy. And the one guy said was, he said, I wish there was a bit of a buffer, like a 10, 20-minute period for players just to kind of like, calm it down, and then go and talk to the media and whatnot. And I see that's fine. But let's be honest though, and this is me just being honest when I say this. But let's look at this for a minute. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Eli Manning,
Russell Wilson,
Colin Kaepernick, who, when he lost the Super Bowl, was younger than Cam Newton, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people view him to be not a mature, responsible figure either.
Yes, I want to make sure. I want to do my research, John.
I'm glad you're doing your research before the show.
He's 28, so when he lost the Super Bowl was in... when did he
2012 or 11? It was 2011.
No, he didn't go in this first year, did he?
Oh no, it was 2012. Yep.
Yeah, 2012. So that was 4 years ago. He was 24 when it happened. Cam Newton's 26.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick had enough maturity to stand in front of the media and field the questions after he lost the rule, after almost having a comeback win, a comeback of the ages against the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
He still talks to the media.
This goes to show you it's not really it's less of an age thing. It's more of a Cam Newton thing.
It's
a his problem.
And this is the point I want to make. When the Ducks lost to the Chicago Blackhawks in the Western Conference Finals last year, games they were ready to go on to the World Cup, to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they lost 2 straight games to the Chicago Blackhawks. Corey Perry, Ryan Getzlaf, John Gibson, Frederick Anderson, they all did their interviews. Jeff Gordon, in his last race, he almost won the NASCAR title. He would have ended his career with a title. Finished 6th place. He still talked to the media. The Cardinals, when they lost to the Red Sox in the 2014 World Series, they still talked to the media. It's a Cam Newton problem.
It is.
It's a thing of where he's not mature. The other thing is this too, because I remember, and someone brought this up, which is a good point, because I looked this up. He pulled this too when they lost to Atlanta this year. When their first loss of the season, he pulled this crap too, where he did a full interview. He stayed for the entire thing, but he gave very short answers. He looked, sullen and sad, and crap like that. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, he didn't. The the biggest problem I have with it is that when they first started with him, they went like 4-12, 3-8 and whatever. You know, like they struggled
before they
they've gotten really good with their I forgot who their coach was before Juan Rivera.
I think it's been Ron Rivera ever since Cam Newton coming to town.
Was
no?
it?
I think so. Do that Google while I say.
Well, this is the point I just want to make. Is this? It's like he didn't act like this.
Like you mean Ron Rivera?
Huh? Oh, I put Juan, didn't I? God.
Juan Rivera.
There we go. But the point I want to make is this: is that he.
Let's see.
Oh, 2011.
Carolina,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
11 was the year that they. They drafted him.
Right.
Same year as Christian Ponder, that Cam Newton.
Hey. but the biggest problem I have with it is just that he didn't act like this when they were 3-1. He didn't act like this when they were 4-12. He didn't do any of this crap. But now all of a sudden it's, hey, look at that, we're the best. He wants to act all cocky. He wants to taunt in front of other players and whatnot. But then when he loses, he acts like a child.
Well, if you remember, he did sort of do that in his first couple of years. Remember the whole thing with the towel over his head in his rookie and sophomore years? Obviously, that's not the Super Bowl.
But that was he's on the sideline though.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's not proper way to act in a game, but still, he had at least. I mean, yes, he did on the side, but he saw the composure to do his interviews and whatnot, and still, like yeah, we lost. It sucks right now. We're not the team that we think we are, and we're not where we want to be, and things like that.
Yeah, I don't. Or at least I would certainly hope nobody is trying to tell Cam Newton, here's the book on being a gentleman in the United States. It's about it's about what it means in terms of sports. If he is sulking like that and not responding well to a loss, that says something about him as a teammate. Cam Newton, he's been a great leader all year. The team obviously looks up to him. He's a captain. But when you do that kind of stuff, it just makes me think that you're not really a mature leader. We don't see quarterbacks do that. We don't see quarterbacks do that. You can do that if you're a defensive lineman or a wide receiver or somebody that can have a fit about it.
But when you're the leader,
you are the quarterback.
Team.
You are the quarterback. You are the ace pitcher. You are the setter in volleyball. You are the point guard in basketball. The goalie, starting goalie. Yeah, you've got to be the guy. You've got to be the guy that the media and the organization looks to and the team looks to. And Cam Newton didn't act like that guy. And that shouldn't – my problem with that shouldn't really matter to Cam Newton. It should matter what his teammates think of him. Because if you look at Luke Kuechly, that's a dude. That's a class dude.
Yeah.
Thomas Davis, that's a guy. Ron Rivera, all those guys, they can do it.
And that's the biggest problem I had too, is that people would be trying to defend Cam and whatnot, but it's like legit every other Panthers player that did their interviews did them fully.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
Even Josh Norman, who was crying on the sidelines after,
yes.
Rightfully so, after he lost the Super Bowl.
It's they can all do it, but you can't.
And everybody reacts in different ways. And I'm not saying that Cam Newton is, like he's just flawed individual. Oh, you can't, talk to the media after a Super Bowl. He just looks like a child. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be on the same team with a child. I certainly wouldn't want to have him as my leader.
If I was Ron Rivera, I would have pulled him to the side and be like, what is going on? What's wrong? Like, you need to grow up. I'm sorry.
I certainly would allow Ron Rivera to do that, not in those words. Maybe after the game, in the locker room, allow, like you said, this period of time in between the end of the game and the press conferences. I don't know what it is, but it needs to be longer. Yeah. It needs to be enough time for Ron Rivera to say, hey, man, you just lost. It's okay.
Oh, no, yeah. I was saying how that's talk with them after everything happened, like, and pull them into the office, whatever, like, when they get back to Carolina and be like,
I would handle that problem proactively before it even is a problem. I would just go up to Cam Newton. I mean, I've never been in a football team, I always say. But, I've been around that kind of environment before. And, you just sort of need to take hold of your place and say, it's all right,
To me, it is one of those frustrating things. I mean, like I said, Cam Newton is such a talented quarterback. He is, but he wants to act like that. And I'm sorry, for me, as if I'm a teammate of his, I'm like, bruh, what are you doing? Like, I can do my interviews, no problem. And I don't want to hear the excuse of, but on the other side was a Broncos player talking about how the defense did their job against Cam. I don't want to hear that excuse, because here's the thing. Cam's going to hear that on the radio, on ESPN, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere. People are going to be talking about how, oh, the Broncos did their job.
Yeah.
So for someone to say, oh, well, that's not fair to him because he had a Broncos player talking about how the defense did the job. What do you think Tom Brady went through when they lost to the Giants back in 2007? The perfect season on the line, and they lost. People are talking about how the Giants shut him, Giants got on him, they shut him down, they did this, that, or the other. Brady's dealt with that.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick had to deal with the fact that he had a horrible first half in his Super Bowl against the Baltimore Ravens, but then charged back, but he couldn't get it. He fell short. He had to deal with those criticisms. What happened when And now Kaepernick, that was funny. Do you watch Pardon the Interruption on ESPN?
Yeah.
With Wilbon and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Kornheiser.
Yeah, Kornheiser. Kornheiser was like, yeah, now you get Colin Kaepernick for a ham sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, that's the thing though, is that it's like I said, at the end of the day, it's about maturity. It's about just dealing with a loss. You lost. It happens. You're not gonna win every time. And like I said, the biggest problem is that he wants to act sad and like a sore loser, but yet he can go up to players on the opposing team and do the shirt rip thing. He can do that no problem. But as soon as he loses, he turns to a sore loser. He is so cocky, it boggles my mind. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being cocky. Tom Brady's a cocky SOB. To be fair, though, Brady has 4 Super Bowl rings to back it up.
And he deals with loss with a little bit of class. Dignity.
Even Bill Belichick does.
Yeah.
And Bill Belichick is one of those SOB head coaches that you do not want to like, but he still talks about how, you know what, they came out, they had a better game plan than us. Simple as that. That's what he does.
To Cam Newton's credit, immediately after the game, he went to midfield and shook Peyton's hand and had a 20-second long conversation with him in which he was smiling and he was, smacking him on the helmet a little bit, good job, man, you deserved it, kind of thing. That's awesome to see. That's awesome to see.
Yeah, that's great to see.
That is the Cam Newton that I
think
should
should
be there all the time.
Yeah.
That's the Cam Newton that you always want to see, being able to handle a loss humbly and be able to come back and, I expect they'll go back to their winning ways next year.
Yeah.
So you want to see a player, I like that word dignity that you just used. He really needs to show some dignity in that situation. He did immediately after the game on the field. He did not really ever again.
And like I say, it's one of those things where you don't have any dignity, you're not going to get far in any league, period. It doesn't matter. You need to show that. I
wonder how happy or validated that Tennessee mom that wrote the letter to Cam Newton earlier in the season feels after he dabbed all over your Titans.
I mean, for me, I was like, when the controversy came up, I was like, whatever, the Titans suck this year anyway, guys. What are you getting upset about? But now it's, again, though, I see it as he wants to dab up all over my Titans, but then he wants to pitch a fit and be a sore loser in a media interview after the Super Bowl. I got no respect for you, man. Sorry.
Exactly. I had no problem with him dabbing and Supermaning and dancing and all that stuff. I love it. I think it's great entertainment. Yeah. You just gotta hit both sides of the coin.
The one thing that bogs my mind though about it too is that people have been getting on the media because they're just getting on Cam and da da da. But if it was any other quarterback that did it, it would be they would be ignoring him. But let's be honest when we say this, Cam is the only quarterback in the league that really does any of that kind of stuff anymore. Where he's a very taunting quarterback. Mm-hmm. Tom
Certainly
Brady,
to this magnitude.
To as in the physical motions. Tom Brady, I'm sure, will yell something or whatever.
He's got that signature fist pump that he does.
Yeah, but that's not really a taunt though. That's a celebration.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Cam is the only guy that really taunts. He does that kind of stuff. Does the stupid antics at opposing players.
Phillip Rivers is known as one of the biggest trash talkers
in
the game, regardless of position. And yet, whenever he loses or whenever he wins, you can see that he respects the opponent, and he respects the game. It's all part of the the sport, the gamesmanship. I shouldn't say sportsmanship about trash talking, but it's all about the gamesmanship. When you're in the moment. But after it's all done, he'll shake everybody's hands. He realizes it's a privilege to play the game. And that seems to be the disparity between him
I honestly
and Cam.
do hope within the next couple of years Cam just grows up.
Yeah.
That's all I hope for. Because he
Could
honestly
you imagine if
is...
he's 32
and he's acting
still
like this?
doing this stuff?
Oh my god, no. Because the other thing is this, so honestly, if he's the new star of he is going to be taking the place of Peyton Manning, as in popular quarterback or a known quarterback.
I think at this point he'll be Tom Brady and Andrew Luck will be Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
where everybody
pretty
likes
much.
Andrew Luck, whereas Cam Newton has become sort of this polarizing figure, much like Tom Brady.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah,
And
those are your two faces of the league.
pretty much right now, yeah, these are your two new faces. Because you have to figure, Tom Brady has like maybe or 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Done. Peyton,
Likely done. Cannot confirm nor deny.
Do you
but
think he's gonna retire?
yeah, well,
I think so.
We can talk about that for a little bit too. What does he have left? He
He's
threw
broken
9
all the
touchdowns and
records.
17 interceptions.
Yeah,
He played like 10 games.
yeah.
He played like 10 games. I'm not even sure it was that many. And
He has broken
stunk it
so
up
many
this year.
records.
Even in the Super Bowl, look at his stats. He was he was barely over 100 yards in completion percentage. I mean, barely over 100. Yeah, 100 yards completion percentage. 100 yards passing, low completion percentage. 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. A nice 2-point conversion. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have anything. The Broncos certainly will not have him back because they have Brock Osweiler, who they know they can play.
Yeah.
If he is given an entire offseason to prepare instead of being thrown in the starting fire immediately, I think he's going to do well. He will be a top 20 quarterback next year.
Yeah,
he's got the skills. He can do it. He can play. You saw it.
I'll be honest. I think Peyton should retire.
Yes.
I think it's just the thing where it's like, again, the one thing I kept bringing up was that he's broken so many records. He now has all-time wins. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He's a surefire Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
He has, I agree with you, he has nothing else to prove. I think he should retire. I think he should just be like, you know what? I mean, he's 39.
Yeah.
He's old.
I think that there are 2 places that I could, if he wanted to stay, if we wanted to keep playing, there are 2 places that I could see him going. That would be Los Angeles and the LA Rams, the newly christened
I remember
LA
there
Rams,
was a lot of rumor about that.
and the Houston Texans, who have a very good roster. They would just need somebody, assuming they would like to draft a Paxton Lynch or a Carson, probably not a Carson Wentz unless they
I
trade
got
it
that
up.
draft book again.
But yeah, assuming they drafted a Paxton Lynch, which if you tuned in last week, you know that he will likely fall somewhere in that 15 to 20 range.
Yeah.
In all likelihood, unless somebody feels really great about him up there. The Houston Texans and the LA Rams are either there with Houston at like 22, I believe, and LA at 15. Houston could trade up a little bit if they needed to, but one of those teams could draft a quarterback, Connor Cook or Paxton Lynch, and have a bridge quarterback in Peyton Manning.
Real quick, where are the LA Rams going to be playing at? Because they don't have the stadium built yet.
I don't know. Right now, I think the plan is for the Coliseum, the LA Coliseum, the old LA Coliseum. But
that's old as hell.
yeah, it really is. But they're going to have to build someplace soon.
Yeah.
Assuming it'll be even quicker if the San Diego Chargers or the Raiders move there with them.
Yeah, true that. So,
but I mean, neither of them are moving for
I mean,
the
like
season.
I said, I hope Payne just retires because I think this would be the best way to end his career.
It can't get better.
It can only get worse. Let's be honest.
Yeah, because assuming you go to a team like that, the Houston Texans or the LA Rams, you're not gonna win a Super Bowl. Don't really care who you are. The Houston Texans obviously have a shot. I don't think they can do it with Peyton Manning this year.
I don't think they have a shot of beating the Patriots against the Super Bowl. I'll say that much.
No, I mean, if they could get a decent quarterback, they have a really great roster. They have a bunch of talented skill players.
But they need to find their Marcus Mariota, their Jameis Winston. They need to get that franchise quarterback.
Yeah, maybe they'll do it this year. Maybe not.
I mean, this is looking like we talked about this last week. This is looking like a bit of a weak quarterback class.
It is. It's not weak. It's just there's not a guy. There's not a guy. There's Jared Goff, who you like more than all the others, or at least I do, and most people do. But there's not one guy you say, yep, there it is. There's not a Marcus Mariota or a Jameis Winston or a Teddy Bridgewater or a Derek Carr that you can say, yep, that guy's going to come in and start, and he's going to be, start all 16 games his rookie year, and he's going to play decent. There's that guy that you hope for. I still don't think any of them are really ready to play week 1 next year. But We'll see how it goes. It is very deep. It is very deep. You have guys like Connor Cook and Christian Hackenberg and Cardale Jones down there.
But it's like really deep for like backups.
Yeah,
it is a backup.
I see a lot of
class.
third and fourth and fifth round guys that you can talk about. But you know,
so getting up Super Bowl.
Getting up Super Bowl.
Yeah, I heard a funny little thing. How basically back in 2007. LeBron James was almost traded to the Lakers for Kobe Bryant.
Whoa!
Did you hear this report from ESPN?
I did not. Was that true?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, apparently this almost happened, but like at last second talks broke down, and there's like, yeah, you know what? We'll just keep our players and whatnot. That would be interesting to think about it like that. Like LeBron. I mean, will LeBron still be with the Lakers right now? Would he have moved on?
I think he would have if not have moved back to Cleveland because.
He loves that city.
He really does. He left a good situation in Miami, or at least not a horrible situation.
Yeah.
To go to the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. We talked about it before. They're never going to win anything.
No, they're not.
But, you know.
It is one of those, like, what-if scenarios. Like, what if they had traded?
That looks crazy now. That looks like a crazy idea to trade Kobe for LeBron.
But it's funny, though, because it's like, when you think about it, Kobe was in his prime. It's 2011. It's 2007 because then 3 to 4 years later, he won back-to-back titles with LA. LeBron's career was just starting to take off. Like he was starting to become the new superstar of the league and whatnot. So it's like that actually would have worked out because LA already had a good situation because they had Odom, they had Fisher, they had Gasol, and with Cleveland, I mean, yeah, they only had. I think they only had like. Oh no, it says they had Shaq, didn't they? Or was that?
You might have to check that. I think that might have been.
I forgot when Shaq played for him, but still, it was like Cleveland was like it was like kind of like the building block stage, but it was like they were also the 2007 team also did go to the NBA Finals, so it's like they like. And that's saying like the next year, then they just collapsed completely. I don't know what the hell happened, but it was like. But when you look at it though, from that perspective of, 2007 they were a title team. Kobe could have taken over that team and led to that title. And it's funny to think about it like this: is that LeBron James is Cleveland's son. You know, that's how people put it. But if Kobe Bryant wins you a title, who
hey, we love Kobe.
So,
like I said, it does look crazy now because Kobe, while he was dominant, LeBron James was the budding star of the day. It would be like trading Andrew Luck for
like Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, it'd be like trading Andrew Luck for Aaron Rodgers, who's a couple years older. Some people really like him. I think he's a scrub, but
he's a good quarterback, John.
He's not.
He threw 2 Hail Marys.
Good job. You threw the ball 60 yards.
Who else has done it?
I don't know. People.
Give some credit.
He ain't no Brett Favre. I'm gonna tell you that much, son.
He already has one Super Bowl, so here he is like Brett Favre.
No, Brett Favre won 2.
No, he didn't. Brett Favre won 1.
He won 2.
No, Brett Favre won 1, dude.
Brett Favre won 2.
All right, I will wager you my hat, which I like a lot, that Brett Favre only won one Super Bowl. All right, let's see. Here we go. Brett Favre,
who is, by the way, retired as a Viking.
Super Bowl champion once. A 2-time NFC champion.
2-time. Okay, made it to the Super Bowl twice. That is my mistake. He had that string of 3 years. So he was like MVP a couple times. Went to the Super Bowl a few times.
Yeah, man, he has a lot of accolades.
Yeah. By the way, he was just passed on Sunday for most all-time wins
by
Peyton Manning, the sheriff, who now has 200 wins, career, regular and postseason.
Is it 200? It's like 201. I thought it was like 201.
201. He was tied.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I thought it was tied at 200, and I was like, now he's at 201 career wins.
Yeah, that's why I was so scared that he would never come back and get that record.
Brady's going to break that, though.
Yeah, you would think.
Because, I mean, you think of Brady's had 10-plus win seasons, I think, in each of his years.
Yeah, he missed a year, but so
because
did
of
Peyton
the
Manning.
leg.
However, Brady Brady didn't start his first year when he was on the Patriots.
That's right.
He was the backup for Drew Bledsoe. But
I remember that name.
But yeah, he's trending towards having a longer career than Peyton Manning, and he is certainly still winning. And he's obviously had more postseason wins, so I think he's got that under lock.
So,
but yeah.
Real quick, by the way, also, one of the other things, NFL stories that popped up, Johnny Manziel apparently There was a lot of controversy yesterday because apparently the Browns covered up his alcoholism. Did you hear about this?
I heard a little bit about it.
Okay, so
Educate me.
here's what happened. So last week of the season, Brown said, Johnny Manziel has a concussion. He didn't report for concussion protocol, to get checked out. That's why they couldn't start in week 17.
That's right. He was supposedly in Las Vegas.
Apparently, though, they lied, and instead they came up with that story of him having a concussion to cover up his alcoholism. And also because apparently he came to a team meeting either drunk or hungover. So
that's the man that has really got to get his life together before he figures out what to do professionally.
Yeah. John, I honestly, I think his career is done. I'll be honest. I don't see another team picking him up. Because unless a team is completely desperate for the media attention and just for a backup, get him. But there's no team that's like that right now. Even the Titans, not even Cleveland. Not even Jacksonville.
You got cut by Cleveland.
Yeah. Cleveland's out in the market for another quarterback, So, it's one of those things where you look at it, you're just like, what?
And it really sucks because, like we said last week,
he's a talented kid.
Or at least I think he showed improvement from year 1 to year 2, at least enough to show me that there's potential there so that he can possibly make an impact on the league.
He was great in college, and it's like what I said last week is that he will go down as one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time, but that's it. He'll never go down.
He's Ryan Leaf.
I think he's okay. Now I'm not gonna say worse than Ryan Leaf, but
Ryan Leaf was pretty messed up.
But Ryan Leaf at least lasted 4 years in the league.
Yeah,
Johnny lasted 2.
It sucks. It sucks to see.
Yeah,
one final thing. Let's talk about hockey. And let's talk about the struggling state of Minnesota hockey.
That's rough. I want to point out, by the way, last night. Did you see the scores from last night?
I saw that the Wild lost 4-3 in shootout.
The Kings beat the Bruins at Boston 9-2.
Really?
Oh my God, it was a whooping. It was 9 different goal scorers too for LA.
9-2. It was 9 different goal scorers.
I think so.
Woo!
I want to say it was. I may be wrong. I may be wrong on that. But yeah, it was rough.
Boston's not even a horrendous team.
They're not. They're actually a pretty okay team.
They're not.
They're not Stanley Cup contenders, but they'll make it to the playoffs.
Yeah,
possibly. But at this rate,
good Lord, that is absolutely ridiculous.
And then Florida beat Buffalo 7-4. God, that Florida team just came out of nowhere. It's such a good team.
They're trending towards being one of the top teams in the East.
It's weird that because you never think of Florida, what a great team they have down there. It's like they've been struggling for so long. Now all of a sudden they got all the pieces together.
Well, it's like you said, or it's like we talked about last week. Los Angeles and Arizona and Tampa Bay and who else? Chicago and Dallas are all trending to make the playoffs. Meanwhile, all of the Canadian teams and Minnesota are all trending down.
Yeah, it was 9 different goals. It was 9 different goal scorers for the Kings. It was Dustin Brown, Luke Shen, Milan Lucic, Trevor Lewis, Dwight King, Drew Doughty, Andy Andreoff, Marian Gaborik, and Jeff Carter all scored for the Kings. Gosh. Good Lord. Yeah. Oh, that's horrendous.
And then you have the Minnesota Wild, who lost 4-3 in overtime.
I will say, though, the Ducks got their butts whooped a couple nights ago by Pittsburgh. Then last night they came back and whooped up on the Flyers 4-1. So
what did they? Who'd they lose to?
The Penguins.
Penguins. What was the score of that one?
That was 6-2.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
but I will point
but
right now. All right, these are the standings for the West.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, Dallas, St. Louis, LA Kings, San Jose Sharks, Anaheim Ducks.
Woo!
The Ducks are now only 1 point back from second place in the Pacific and 8 back of taking the lead in the Pacific. And then it's Nashville, and then Colorado rounds it out at 8. Minnesota's at 9th.
Zach, would you like to know how many games the struggling Wild have won since the new year?
None.
Good guess, but no.
Is it like 2?
In 2016, this okay. What day is today? Today is February the 10th.
Yes.
A month and 10 days, the
Oh.
Wild have won a grand total of 3 games.
Wow.
They have lost, let me count it on all my hands, 1,
Woo!
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games.
And it's funny to think about it. Before the new year, they were like, or even before, even like I say back in like early December, they were like top 4 in the West.
They had a stretch, it's a calendar year, I would say, since they acquired Dubnyk last year in the trade,
Yeah.
that they were
Like just
the tippy top
Yeah.
of the NHL. And now they're not.
Well, we'll see what happens. Like, again, it's funny. We just come up here and talk about the NHL. It's like we still got the rest of the season. The season doesn't end until April, but so we got time. But
Season's over.
hey, I had that by side. The Ducks have come surging back, so you never know.
Season's over. There's no redemption for this Minnesota Wild team.
Well, John,
The clock has just struck 1:50.
we have class
So
to
it's
get
time
to.
for these carriages to turn back into pumpkins and
That's one way to put it.
and hit class.
Yeah,
so
true that.
it's been a good show. I think
Yeah,
we
this
definitely
was-
did a lot of football, which I love.
Oh yeah, I know
But
you
there's
do.
not going to be a lot of that coming because
Well, we got
that was the
April.
last game
April's the
till
draft.
August. April is the draft.
And
We're
we
gonna
get win. It's the off season now, so you have some trades coming down. I mean,
Oh, boy.
it'll be interesting to talk about where Johnny goes if anyone picks him up.
man, we are gonna start hitting the draft hard.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna get into it next week. I'm hopefully gonna have all my quarterbacks, and then we'll move on from there. It's a fun time of the year for me. I hope it'll be for y'all guys as well. Reminder: Friday, 3 to 4:30 p.m. That's the Super Uber Power Hour. That's our video game show. You can catch us then. We are also on YouTube now.
Yes.
The Super Uber Power Hour and the Jay-Z Sports Report both.
Yeah.
Actually, Super Uber Power Hour does not have a video uploaded yet.
No,
I gotta do that.
Hey.
But last week's video with Steven,
Yay!
which was a really great show.
Yeah,
Listening
that
to
was
it.
a whole great show with Steven.
That was a great show.
So it was hilarious. every
He's a
time.
natural. But yeah, catch us then. Catch us on the YouTubes. So thank you for watching. Have a wonderful week.
Bye, guys.